Welcome to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me is Richard Wang, CEO of Coding Dojo and Sector Practice Leader for EdTech and Future of Work at the MIT Martin Trust Center, to discuss why he believes there's an opportunity to push individuals into the tech industry and that it will continue to grow as more businesses and schools extend their online paths. Richard, it's great to have you with us. Welcome to Trade Talks.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on the program, Joe.
Why is this the time to retrain the American workforce and invest in the future?
Yeah, absolutely. We are in the fourth industrial revolution. And for this revolution, it's AR, VR, data science, robotics, coding, biosciences, and everything that's powering for this industrial revolution is really just about coding and digital economy. And so right now is a perfect time to really educate the young people and for the people who are underemployed and unemployed, the digital skill sets so they can be productive in the digital economy.
Why is there still a pressing need for tech workers such as developers, engineers, system admins, and cybersecurity experts?
Yeah, absolutely. I think globally we have about 22 to 25 million software developers. But if you divide that up by every single country, that's just not enough. Our entire society economy is going digitally right now. And in the United States, I think based on the data from the labor data, we're showing that we have about 1 million people that we need for these type kind of jobs. And right now we have so many people that are unemployed, underemployed. They are talented people, but they are just not able to get a job, and they need to really get a career mobility. So right now it's a perfect time to train them the in-demand skill sets of coding and data science and in those type kind of areas.
Right, and that's a great point that you bring up. I mean, think about just this week alone, 28,000 people laid off at Disney, retail workers are losing jobs by the thousands, airlines are at risk of layoffs. How do you retrain people from different sectors, particularly service, to have a career in technology?
Yeah, I think, at least at Coding Dojo, what we believe is that talent is evenly distributed, but opportunities are not. If you take a look at the typical computer science degrees at Stanford, Harvard, all those top schools, they probably produce about 200 people per year. And if you take a look at the equities in our education, what the data is telling us that there is a direct correlation between the average household income to who goes to college. And then if you take that funnel even deeper, you will see there's only a fraction amount of people who go into college will be even to get into the computer science degrees. I think we have been working really hard to create more equity, getting more people of color, underserved, into those kind of programs, but still it costs a lot of money. It takes a lot of different type kind of infrastructure support to do that. And so for accelerated learning programs right now is a perfect time to really give everybody a chance to democratize and proliferate computer science education for all.
Richard, you are so right. A big component of this, of course, is money, but it's accessibility and just being even able to have the tools available to pursue these kinds of degrees. So I guess the key here is proper planning, execution, the accessibility to retraining the workforce, as you had mentioned, starting young and in the schools. Can this realistically happen? I mean, it has to happen. Look at what 2020 has taught us, but how do you execute on that?
Yeah, definitely. I think there are a couple of dimensions here. I think with COVID, we have accelerated the digital learning and the digitalization of our society about 5 to 10 years. And
Mhm.
so as you can see, there is a lot of infrastructure that's not built in right now, and a lot of public schools are suffering from that. I think the federal government has to step in right now to really create policies that is going to give the federal grant dollars to help us to upskill our young people. And let's just take some look at the data, not even just for the younger people, but in the past 30 years from 1970s to now, we have what's called the hollowing out in the middle effect. All the middle skill jobs, people working in the office, sales jobs, they are being automated by machine learning, AI. And where does those people go? They actually don't go to the high skill jobs, but they end up going to the low skill jobs, driving, driving the Uber cars and deliver for Amazon. And somehow America, we're in love talking about job numbers growth, but these are all really poor jobs. Look at where the jobs are growing in the warehouse, in delivering mails. These are not quality jobs. They are not high economic mobility jobs. And what's worse, that once people get into those jobs, they get stuck. They really get stuck. And these are young people. At Coding Dojo, we have seen the data where a truck driver just recently got a job through our training, was able to get a job at Microsoft. So talent are out there. We just need to ensure everybody has a chance. Right now, in terms of American dream, is totally different than the 1970s, 1980s, where you can get a college degree, go work for GM, you can make $80,000 to $100,000, send your daughter to college, and also afford a home. That dream no longer exists. We need to build the infrastructure, build a program for the current society in the current time. And that is about how we can adapt to the fourth industrial revolution, make sure everybody has a winning chance.
Yeah, you're absolutely right there, because we're seeing this massive divergence between the top end of the economic chain and the lower end of the economic chain, and it's all those people in between that are unfortunately going to get lost in the middle of it. I think this is even more than technology. It's a society issue as well.
That's right. That's right. It is. And that's where all this polarization of our society right now comes from.
Hmm.
Because the haves, they're having more. The have-nots, they just get stuck. And so there is a lot of frustration of Americans right now. We're really need to create a really robust workforce development program for everybody to have a winning chance in the digital economy.
So let's wrap up and talk about Coding Dojo. How does that process work? Where can you get access to it?
Yeah, so we essentially train people online and also on site, asynchronously, synchronously through our training programs. And our goal is about, after 10 years of refining learning science and instruction design, we won the MIT Inclusive Innovation Award back in 2016. That's a validation of the work that we do. And we have invested so much in understanding how people learn, and then we codify the concepts to be easier to be adapted, and so that people can digest the concept faster over 3 months of time, learn by doing. So by the time they get out, they are ready to build their portfolios and ready to join the tech workforce.
All right, Richard, appreciate the insight. Thanks for joining us on Trade Talks.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
And thanks for joining me. I'm Jill Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.